Welcome everybody to Jim's Proving Ground. Glad to see y'all again, man. Oh, what a week it was for sports, for the Mariners especially. Oh, that was a rough one. But we're going to get through it, talk all about it, and what's coming up down the road. Had some pretty good insight for what's going on with the Huskies right now in the football program. Looks like Jim Harbaugh kind of got disciplinary action, but not really. With the NCAA, it's all kind of weird. Still haven't figured out, after watching it for the last 15 years, still can't figure out what is going on, what the rules all actually are, and who gets punished and who really doesn't get punished. And then we got the big UFC 305 card. Israel Adesanya versus Duplessis. Oh, man. That's going to be a good one. Oh, it's going to be good. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk all about it. All right, let's get through the hard one first. The Mariners. You know, they get to that point where you think they're right there. They're about to get it. They're about to hold that first place, and you're starting to see the offense coming together, the defense, the whole team is working out as a whole. People are making great catches and great stops everywhere. You even had an ESPN highlight with a throw the glove to the barehanded on the second base to get the double play. Oh, some great stuff, right, going against the Mets. And then, just get clobbered by the Tigers. It just hurts. That was a rough one to watch. I mean, was it 15-1? Ugh. Just brutal. But, okay, let's get into it. So, again, we were starting off great, right? I mean, you had the Mets coming to town and shoot that first one. You shut them out 6-0. What was it? You had who was it? Bryce Miller coming in, pitching a hell of a game, going for it, you know, and everyone's getting pretty dang well. Cal Raleigh coming with it with that 2-run shot, you know, and pretty solid outing, 6-0. Great job. Next up the next day, you had Logan Gilbert doing his thing. Walter comes out, and they pitch out a really good game. Another 4-0. Not a home run in the game, but solid outings. Getting the doubles and getting a ton of RBIs. It was great. And then Sunday Night Baseball came along. You're on ESPN, and you're under the lights, right? It's the show. You actually banged that one out. And it's a best one of the series, 12-1. Holy crap. And I mean, you had... Who was that? That was that Luis Castillo doing that one? Man, he was killing. He even had this guy Iglesias spun him around on a strikeout. I mean, it was looking effortless, and the boys were having fun. Everyone was getting it. Cal Raleigh had 2 home runs that game. It was just awesome, right? Weather was perfect. You couldn't beat it. It was great. And I mean, hell, you even had an extra bonus. You had a guy making his debut, Troy Taylor, coming in. Guess he gets his debut, 2 strikeouts on Sunday Night Baseball nonetheless. It was amazing. Love seeing it. You're like, all right, great homestand going against the Mets. We're going to keep this thing going, right? We bounced right back from another bad outing against the Tigers. All right, we're going to get them this time. We're going to get them on the road. And kind of disappointed. Man, and it was hard because it was Kirby. And usually Kirby is solid. You know, just this time Kirby did not have it. It was bad. What was it, 15-1? Just getting clobbered that game. Could not believe it. I'm not even sure if I finished that one. And I think I went to bed. But man, that one hurt. The next 2 games, is really low scoring, 3-2, 2-1, defensive effort, and the pitchers did not get any help offensively. Just a rough outing, you know. And now you're 3 games behind the Houston Astros, who are first place, and this is completely doable. You still have a lot of games left in this season to make up 3 games. They can do it, but you know it's getting to be late August. It's getting to be that time where right now, every single game counts. You cannot afford to have another series like you did against the Tigers. You just can't. So, hoping they do better. Right now, they're going against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They got a 3-game stand against them. I think it's a 3 or 4 game stand against the Dodgers after that. So, hopefully they can salvage this road series, this entire road trip. Hopefully pick up one or both of these left of these series. That would be amazing. Kind of gain some ground on the Astros and really get the next homestand, get the ball rolling, get the momentum going. Because, man, you cannot have an outing like that. One thing that was it was good to see on Sunday Night Baseball, you had Julio making his way back from IR, right? Everyone was excited. It was great to see him. Mike Cameron was on the mound. He got a picture with him. It's great. You're like, okay, Julio's back in. We're going to get this ball rolling. Well, that all stopped when they went against the Tigers and just took a pitch the wrong way, twisted his knee, and he actually got a base hit. I mean, he kind of had to take a break. Trainers looked at him. He was like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to get this at bat. He was coming in just for being a DH anyway. But after that hit, he was like, nope, I'm out. And now he's back on the IR, unfortunately. So, don't know what's going on with him. Hopefully he can kind of get back in the game. We'll see what happens, right? All right, so that's the rough part. That's the bad news. Let's get into the positive news, shall we? All right, let's start off, second part of it. Let's go to the Huskies and the UW football program. All right, we are well into the fall camp season for 2025-2024, and things are starting to solidify themselves. Beginning of camp, you had the defense kind of getting after the offense, as usual as it happens. But what happens during camp, and it's about around this time where the offense finally starts gelling, especially when it's brand new guys, new quarterback, all that, they start gelling. The quarterback starts finding his favorite targets and start getting to a rhythm, right? The O-line is gelling. Everyone knows the calls. It's great. And that's kind of what happened. And it happened about 2 days ago. Will Rogers is finally finding his favorite targets in Denzel Boston, Giles Jackson, and transfer Jeremiah Hunter from Cal. And these are some really good targets. And another great target he's finding is Quentin Moore. He is really making some noise in this camp. Now, remember, Quentin Moore, he is the guy that, I think in the Pac-12 title game, he actually caught that pass from Michael Penix to get that touchdown to kind of seal the game, right? He is making some noise, right? After all the great tight ends kind of went away, he is finally making a name for himself. It was supposed to be, the other Otten brother that was supposed to kind of come in, do like his older brother did, and run with it. Well, Ryan Otten, unfortunately, is still kind of injured and still just kind of running on the sidelines. So, Quentin Moore, hey, good for him. He's making the best of his chances, and he's being the go-to for a tight end for Will Rogers, and that's really good. Jonah Coleman coming in from AZ. He's making a dang good name for himself. Frisian Pricesock, another transfer. I mean, these guys from Arizona, they can ball. I mean, people kind of forget that AZ was a 10-win team. And Jed Fish, he did a lot in his first year. I mean, going from the bottom of the barrel where they were and then bringing them up, he did a hell of a job. So I'm expecting these guys to really make an impact this season. And, it's crazy because the top 25 teams just came out, right? UW's not even on there. Not one. Even with all the moves, you got some high-rated guys that came in out of the transfer portal. Didn't make a difference. Couldn't crack the top 25, but for some reason, Oregon's there. Don't know why. For some reason, the marketing gurus at ESPN love them, and they want them to do well every single year. And they don't. They might win the Pac-12, but they haven't been in the playoffs, for almost 10 years, I want to say. So, I'm waiting for that to kind of come around. About 4th or 5th game of the season, once I start, going against Michigan, I can see a top 25, maybe top 15 teams going at it at that game. That's going to be fun. So, aside from that little chip on the shoulder, the team is actually doing pretty dang good. Excited for it. We are 15 days from kickoff going against Weber State. And it's probably going to be a shellacking for Weber State. Thank you for coming in. We'll pay you some cash. All right. On your merry way. And then we're going to step up on our competition. So, looking forward to that game in 15 days. I'm going to try and get my tickets. I hope you guys are there too. And hoping for a packed crowd. First game of the season. I know it's Weber State, but hey, we're in the Big Ten now. Okay, we got to show up and show out and show our fan base and represent. All right, we've stepped it up. We got to show them that we belong here. All right, so moving on to the exciting part. My favorite part, UFC 305. Adesanya versus Duplessis. Oh man. Excited for this. You know, it's ever since Israel lost to Sean Strickland, he kind of went in hiding a little bit. Didn't really want to be seen. He kind of like shied away. Wasn't talking as much trash. And I get it. You know, after that kind of your build up, you're the biggest star. Then you have something like that. You kind of want to have some time away, right? Get some time to yourself, regroup, go back to the drawing board and see what's going wrong and what you can improve upon, right? But Adesanya, man, he has that he has that instinct, just like John Jones, where guy is just too talented not to be a champion and be top 3 every time. He's going to be a title challenger every single time. And I think he's got Duplessis' number. I mean, Sean Strickland, he's just an odd fighter. I think Sean Strickland's style gives Adesanya problems, the way he likes to fight. But the way Duplessis fights, man, I saw going against Sean Strickland, that was boring as hell. It was... Even Dana White, after that fight, said, yeah, I don't see how that was boring. I don't think Duplessis won. Not exciting, right? Adesanya, I don't think this is going to go all 5 rounds. I don't. I think I'm calling for Adesanya to actually knock him out. That's just me. I'm going to get that out of the way. And I'm going to switch it up this time. I'm actually going to start from the top of the card and then work our way down to the prelims on this one. So, got the main card out of the way, right? I got Adesanya. Knockout, and I'll say second, third round. That's what I'm thinking. And new champ. And, probably get another shot against Sean Strickland. See how that goes. All right, next we got Kai France versus Steve Erceg. Now, Kai France is actually on a 2-fight losing streak, I believe. And so he kind of needs this one, but man, Steve Erceg, oh man, this guy, he's a big dude. I think he's got 4 or 5 inches on Kai France, and he's a hell of a striker, and his really loss that he has is against a champ, and it was on a short notice fight. I mean, he had just fought 8 weeks prior. So, and he put a hell of an outing. It was a, unanimous decision loss, and what I did see in that fight is that he's not a ground guy. He doesn't do well against grapplers and wrestlers. But man, when's a striking competition? No, I'll give it to him. No, I'm not betting against him when it's going against a no striker. Now, you're going against a jiu-jitsu guy, grappling, yeah, okay, I might hesitate on that. But this one, Kai France being a striker and this guy being a striker, it's going to have some fireworks. I'm actually picking Steve Erceg. This guy, I'm taking him. He's a bigger man, and if he starts using that reach on Kai France, watch out. Kai France, I think, is going to have a rough night. All right, let's move on to the heavyweight division. And this is a hard one for me because you got Tai Tuivasa versus Rosenstruck, right? Tai Tuivasa, if everyone remembers, he is the guy that after his knockouts, he will take a shoe, put a beer in it, and he will chug it, right? I mean, crowd favorite, everyone loves him, and a few years back, he was just knocking everybody out. He was great, right? Had a ton of marketing, had the momentum again, behind him. Crowd favorite. It was great. And then he lost, and lost again, and he's finding himself right now in a position to where if he doesn't win this fight, he's out. That's it. This is He's on a 4-fight losing streak. 4. Guys really don't make it out of the UFC if you're at 3 losses in a row. And if you're at the 4th loss, you're out. So this is his absolute last chance in the UFC to get signed again. He needs it. And he's a crowd favorite. This is in Perth, Australia. It's set up for him. You know, the matchmakers could not have done any better for him. This is a striker. This is not a wrestling or grappling match. Nope, we're going to throw hands and see who's going to knock each other out. My head says Rosenstruck. But my heart's going to rule out on this one, and I'm going to pick Tuivasa. Just because I want to see it. I want to see him back in the win column. I want to see the crowd go crazy, and I want to see him take a drink from a shoe. I know it's immature and stupid, but come on. Everyone wants to see that, and I'm going to choose him. I don't have a lot of confidence, but you know what? I'm picking him. That's who I'm picking. All right? And I'm going to say first or second round knockout. Rosenstruck and him, they both don't go the distance. They really don't. So, knockout second round for Tuivasa. Hoping. All right, next we got in the lightweight division. We got Gamrot versus Hooker. And this is a pretty good matchup. Both strikers, both pretty well rounded. But Gamrot isn't as smooth. And I'm not sure if he has as many weapons as Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker has a lot more kickboxing, a lot more Thai, and smoother striking, a little bit more patient, and he's in complete control. He knows exactly where he wants to hit. He can pick up the speed, he can slow it down, he can really dictate the pace. He just has to kind of get in his groove. And right now he's finding it. Dan Hooker's on a 2-fight win streak. So for this one, I'm going to pick Hooker on this one. Gamrot, I'm a big fan of. I'm a huge fan of Gamrot. I just don't think he's as good of a striker as Hooker. And so that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to pick Dan Hooker on this one. And I don't think this one will actually be settled in the rounds. This one will be more of like a split decision, unanimous decision kind of fight. So, but I'm going to pick Hooker on this one. Just because he has a better striking and he's got a little bit more, momentum behind him. He has the experience. All right, next one. And this one, I saw this, and I actually don't know this guy very well. I haven't, kept up on the Ultimate Fighter seasons in a while. And when I looked at him and I saw this trick, I was like, holy crap, this guy can throw. This guy's damn good. He's won his last 5 fights? This guy's going to bring it. And Li Jinliang, I'm sorry if I butchered that name. I apologize. I am terrible at it. Now, Carlos Pradas, he is an Ultimate Fighter. He's got heavy hands. I'm picking him to win, right? But this fight is interesting because Lee, he goes back and forth, right? His last 5 fights right now are loss, win, loss, win, loss, right? But the devil are in the details. His only losses are by submission. If he's going against a striker, he's going to win. And Carlos Pratas is a striker. He's not a grappler. He wants to bang. He wants to throw. So, the records might not show it. You might not know Li Jinliang. But this first fight on the card, on the main card, might have some fireworks to it. This one actually might surprise you on the night. But I'm going to pick Carlos Pradas. Saw him knock out his last fight, and he's good. He's good. All right, but I'm going to take him. Now, 2 guys in the prelims I want to take a stab at. Looks like it's going to be pretty good. Is Tafa versus Walker. And both have pretty good records. I think Tafa's like 5-2, Walker's 10-1. And these heavyweights, and they're both knockout artists. I'm just like, it might be one of those, when the UFC, you watch them and has that little octagon and it says, if you don't know, now you know. This is going to be one of them. And I'm going to take Toph on this one. As a kickboxer, I'm going to take him. I think you're going to see a head kick knockout in the heavyweights on this one. This one's going to be pretty exciting. And then the next one we got, I always want to root for the hometown crowds. I want to see them go crazy, anywhere, whether it be Perth, Australia, London, Vegas, Cali, Texas. I'm always rooting. I want to see the crowd go crazy for hometown boy, right? So, hometown boy in this one is Tom Nolan, and he's going against Alex Reyes. And Tom Nolan, he's got a damn good record, striker, and looking like this guy is going to be an up-and-comer. Seeing the way he fights, it's going to be a kind of exciting one coming up. So, that's my take. We'll see how right and how wrong I am this weekend at the UFC 305 card. But I'll be back here on Sunday going through all of the reactions of it. And please, God, let the Mariners win one of these series. Let them win against the Pittsburgh Pirates. God willing, right? All right, guys. Signing off. I will see you back on Sunday. And hope you guys have a damn good weekend. Enjoy it. Later.